Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Stephanie Stevens Show. Tonight on my show, I have two amazing gentlemen. They have found love, and they're from a small town in Pennsylvania. So today on the show, we have Mr. um, Vince Lanahan and Dennis Beck. And the reason I asked them on the show is because they have found love, something that the gay community or the LGBTQ two spirit pronoun community seems to have very little of. We know most people today just hook up or it's just random sex and all these kinds of things, but they're going to tell us their story, how they met, how they fell in love, where life is now, voting, all the things that concerns our community. And hopefully we can educate others out there that the gay community does contribute to the world. We do love each other. We can find jobs. We can contribute to society. We pay taxes. We do all the things that the heterosexual community does. And it's about time that we be recognized for those things and respected for the fact that LGBT community can find love and they should. This is something that is a right. When people love each other, they should have the right to get married and have the same opportunities as others. So, how are you guys doing?
Good,
Doing
pretty
good.
good.
Doing good, Miss Stephanie.
Excited.
Wonderful. So, where are you guys actually from?
Actually, I'm from about 20 miles outside of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, in a small town called Boothwyn, Pennsylvania. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I want to say the population is probably maybe 10,000, if that. Um, it's a very small community.
Okay. And where are you from, Vince?
And I'm 30 miles north of Philadelphia. I'm from Fairless Hills, Bucks County, right outside Trenton. Um, it it has a lot of different neighbors, communities. You've got the poor, and then you've got the uppity ups, who have acres of home. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and
Oh,
I come from a town where Pennsylvania had one of two steel mills.
mm-hmm. Well,
Yeah.
I was actually a few years ago, I performed in Erie, Pennsylvania, in a
Uh,
nightclub called the Zone, some kind of nightclub called the Zone. Me and one of the DJs from here, and it was cute. Now, the reason I wanted you guys on the show, now you guys have been together for 25 years.
Correct.
yes.
Now, how does it feel right now as a couple to be in a small town? What does it feel like to be a married LGBT couple in a small town?
Well, it, it's it's very hard. Um, you have you have the only time I think really people really appreciate the LGBTQ community is in June when Pride, because in Pride month we celebrate, we don't care, we hang our flags outside.
And that's a state. Pennsylvania is the month of June. So every county has it at a different time.
But
Okay.
we go out, and this is what we do. It's a shame I don't have a picture. I look for it, but what we do is we where I live at, I put a sign outside and it says Happy Pride Month, and I put out a whole bunch of flags out front or in my window, and people come past and say, "Hi, can I have a flag?" Sure, it's Pride Month. I'm going to give it to you. If I can educate somebody on LGBTQ, I try to.
We
Okay.
live in we live in an environment um, where we live right on a river, so you've got docks of many different. I'm sorry, many the elder men.
Okay.
They are stern and they are strict, and we are nothing. But
Mm,
then you have Dennis and I that came here, and there weren't. there really isn't many two of us in Booth Win. But with us working together for years, we
Mhm.
brought people into our stores. They fell in love with us as a couple. And before
Mhm.
you know it, they were a couple.
Oh, wonderful. Now, can I just ask one question? You guys, I'm not seeing your mouths.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
seeing,
There we go.
so yeah.
Now you're not seeing our eyes.
Oh.
Hold on.
Get it where you gotta go.
Hold on. Hold on. Oh, yeah.
It's all good. So today,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, on the show today, we have Mr. Dennis Beck and Vince Lanahan from Boots Win, Pennsylvania. They are a married couple, LGBT from the LGBTQ two-spirit pronoun community. They like animals, they like dancing, they like art. And today we're just having a friendly conversation about being part of the LGBTQ community in a small town and being in love and just what the whole situation is in a small town and how it affects them as being the LGBT community members and the fact that they have a son. And we're going to touch on all of those stories, on all of that
We're
today.
trying,
on the
we're trying
Stephanie
to
Stevens Show.
hook up with you again.
That's okay. Take your time. I just don't see your picture.
No, we lost it.
It's okay. Take your time.
Okay.
Uh-huh. So that's what we will be talking about today on the Stephanie Stevens Show. Oh, and we're back.
Don't ask me.
Lost you again.
Yeah, we're pulling you back.
Help these.
There we are.
Hello.
Okay. That's much better.
I'm out here.
Now, so we're going to continue on. So you guys own a business in Boots Win?
Yes, we own an antique shop.
Okay.
It's a small little antique shop. Most of it is antiques. I deal a lot with. We try to deal a lot with the LGBTQ community.
Mm-hmm.
I try to go out and buy. Uh,
There's glasses, there's
Well,
perfume bottles, there's
You know,
fence.
the fact that you guys have a thriving business, whether it's small or big, in a town that is mostly heterosexual and you have found your life there, that is an amazing thing for the LGBTQ community right there. And the fact that, can I just ask, how old are you guys?
I'm 54.
And
Dennis.
I'm 50.
Oh, okay. I'm 60.
How are
Very
you?
good.
Look
Mhm.
beautiful.
So now I hear that you guys have a son.
Yes, we do. His
Okay.
name is Joshua.
Okay. Does he? Oh, okay. So, does he? How does he support you guys?
We are both dads.
Oh,
We're-
okay. So things are good.
Yes. We were
Now,
invited to his wedding as his two fathers.
okay, wonderful. Now, did you? How does your neighbors treat you?
Um,
More than you know. They are like family. One
Okay.
can't leave the house without the neighbors knowing, so the neighbors keep their eye on the other one.
yes, it's
Okay. Now, I'm just trying to connect everything. So this is why I'm asking certain things for now. Okay.
Okay.
Now, I want to know, do you guys actually have an LGBT community?
we do not. We
No.
do not.
So why not?
The closest LGBT community is Philadelphia. It never came down this far.
We do have areas in Delaware County, which is where we live. They're off on the edges. We are right on the edge of the Delaware state. So we're in between three different towns And
Okay.
we're just trying to group, if we have to, or if we really want to bring us all together.
Oh, wonderful. Now, so which one of you is Dennis?
I am right here.
Okay.
Hi,
And
beautiful.
okay. So Dennis, why is it that you don't have uh, uh, some sort of, so there's no support system there for the LGBTQ community at all?
No, not at all.
Okay, so if you guys need to access any services maybe that you can't access as an American, through whether it's Medicare or just overall employment office, resource centers for whatever, there is nothing for.
No,
There isn't backup. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
there's no backup for the LGBT community right here.
Okay, so if you want to go to like a pride parade, or you need some resources, like resources for whatever, either, gay homelessness or homelessness in general, you have to go to Philadelphia?
Yes, Philadelphia or Delaware.
Oh, okay. Now, what is the most challenging things that are problematic for the two of you as a couple in this small town of Bootswin? What are you finding the most difficult as a couple?
Our most difficult right now is with the presidency and people threatening us because we are gay and we are out. And I was actually going to move from where we was because we have a neighbor that's very racial.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like gays whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very sad because all of my other neighbors get along with us. I don't know what's wrong with this gentleman to come down to our house and walk into our house sometimes to where he feels free to do whatever he wants.
Well, do
But
you know him?
he's our neighbor.
So why would you allow him just to walk in your house?
Well, he's not walking in our house anymore. We stopped that.
Oh, okay, good. Well, sometimes, Dennis, we can't have everyone to like us. We try to get along, and for us being part of our community, it's much harder because people find it easy to discriminate against the LGBT community because they think that we're weak and we won't fight back. But that's not true. We do fight back. We just fight back in different ways, but it just depends on which city you're in. It's how much they fight back. Because I know there's some cities that they scrap. So, but
Yeah, I
all
know.
that being said, we as no matter where you live in the world, we have to stand up for our rights and stand up what's right for you as a couple as well. And I understand the challenges of being in a small town. I mean, because I come from the Bible Belt. Orlando, you can't get no worse than that when it comes to religion and strict rules and this, and people trying to understand. I mean, they've come a long way now. Orlando's come a long way, thank God. But now, can I just ask this question just so it's clear? Because I want to understand, how do you guys identify?
Openly gay.
Okay. Now, is your son biological or
Yes,
or
he's my.
oh he's
Yeah.
your son. Okay.
Yeah.
So you were married before Dennis.
Yes, I was.
Okay. Now, when did you say you've been together 25 years. How was it when you first met? What was the spark?
Well, I gotta say, I was a bar back at a bar called Westbury's up in Philadelphia, a gay bar, and Vince was a waiter.
Mhm.
And I went into work and I said, "Oh my God, that is the most handsomest man I've ever seen in my life." And I'm going to be honest with you. I could not stop thinking about him.
Mhm. You
And
know, that is the way you said it. I could see it. I can see that you would be a great storyteller because I could see what you just said. I could vision that, and that's amazing. So, what? Just not to be in detail, but what was it like the first night when you finally got to meet him and talk to him?
it was like,
We sat down to have dinner as staff, as employees. We were just work buddies. And just conversation started, and right then and there, we all clicked. We both clicked.
Oh, that is amazing. So, when did you guys get married?
we got married. We met in July of 94,
And we got married.
and we got married in December of 94, which was by a rabbi. We worked at a restaurant called Red Robin, and we got married at our home by a rabbi. That was the first time. The second time was at a bar called Sisters in Philadelphia, which was a lesbian bar, and we were the only gay couple there,
The gay boys.
the gay boys at the wedding.
Mhm.
So
And it was done by a pastor.
the pastor. But
Wonderful.
it was not officially, it was a civil union wedding.
Okay, because I was going to ask you, is your marriage recognized by the system? I don't know the registry or whatever it is. Is it recognized in the state of Pennsylvania?
Well, we were supposed to get married July of this year, but the
Mhm.
pandemic came. We are getting married July of next year.
Oh, okay.
We have a beautiful place.
We have name swap. We're both getting wedding announcements, name change.
Okay. So is the marriage between same-sex couples recognizable where you are? Or is it recognized in the
Yes.
is it the state of Philadelphia?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so it's legal for you guys to actually be married and all of that.
It's
Yes.
legal in the entire state, the entire
Oh,
Pennsylvania.
okay.
Yeah,
Now,
the reason why we didn't get married is we have been together for so long
Mm.
that I didn't feel that it was necessary. But when it comes down to it, I want to take his last name.
mhm.
I've always wanted to take his last name.
Okay, so let's switch gears here for just a minute. Now, am I in a house
Yes,
with
you are.
am I in a house with Republicans or Democrats?
Democrats.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yes, honey.
So what do you guys think of the election? What do you think? Is this a good thing or a bad thing?
I think it really is a good thing because the president we had prior to Donald Trump, Donald walked in, he fired who Barack hired. Biden took over, he hired back the first person that Trump got rid of, who was hired by Barack Obama.
Mhm.
And he stated in his president-elect speech that he doesn't matter. It is color. It is homosexual. It is all one. America is America.
Mhm.
The thing
Now,
I like-
Dennis, when you
Yes,
said that you put the flags in your yard,
yes.
now, did you ever wake up one morning and the flags were missing? What about I'll say that first? The LGBT, were they ever missing?
No,
Okay, wonderful. Because we have a few incidents here where we had people put their American flags or their LGBTQ flags in their yard, and people go around and remove them in the middle of the night. Now, when you had did you guys actually have a Biden flag in the yard or in the window?
well, I don't have a front yard. It's a sidewalk. I live right on the street.
Oh,
But
okay.
um, no, I did not have a Biden flag. Um, I could not find one. And to be honest with you, with the pandemic that was going on, I'm so afraid to go into the stores.
Okay, so you guys are social distancing at home. Most people are wearing masks. What do you guys think about that?
I,
It, we, I'm sorry.
it's okay,
We,
Bob.
we take our time with our friends and our family, and we see them for a day, 2 day, everything's fine.
Okay, now,
When we're
Dennis,
out in the public,
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Vince.
When we're out in the public, no, it's a mask and it's sanitizer. It's we have to be that way because
Wonderful.
not only with the flu or I'll say HIV, you now
Mhm.
have COVID.
Okay. Now, that's a great thing. To me, I think we should wear the mask and just be safe and just do what we can until we really find a cure or we find some sort of vaccine. Just try to abide by the rules. I know most people are upset because their lives have changed in a drastic way, but I think down the road, we're going to be going through something a little bit more drastic than what we're going through right now. I think the repercussions of all of this is going to have devastating effects, even though it's having tremendous loss of life right now. And the fact that everybody is at odds with the presidency, and then the world is so unsettled because people's lives have changed with jobs, no money, and our futures look a little bit concerning, and for everyone. But what I wanted to ask you, Dennis, was now that so you guys actually voted for Biden.
Yes,
Okay. And is any of your neighbors that are sitting around with you Republicans?
actually, my niece is.
Okay. So what does she say? What is her argument?
Oh, Lord.
She wanted the House Democratic. She only wanted Trump as president.
Okay.
It's
So,
just like I am rubbing it in her face so
oh.
bad.
Now, the good thing about all of this is I love the fact that you two, I can tell that you love each other. And I can feel the sense of Dennis, you want to take care of Vince, and Vince, you're right in there with Dennis. And this is something I find touching and very emotional. And this is a good thing. And it's great that you guys have decided to share your story with our viewers, whether we have 1 million viewers or we have 50,000. If we change people's perception of how they see the gay community as just being promiscuous and doing drugs and dancing all night long and carrying on, this is something they have to understand. I've been doing drag all my life, and I've always done these kind of things in retrospect around the drag. So that's why I'm able to survive these days, is because I put my hat in a lot, or I could say my wig, in a lot of different places.
Right.
And but I want to just ask you guys, so now, what do you think Biden will do differently now as he is the president that he didn't do when he was with Barack and vice president?
Well, I like to say this. I personally have met Joe Biden twice. I met Beau Biden twice. I think that he's going to do a lot for America. I think the new vice president is going to do a lot for the LGBTQ. I think she's going to take over Michelle Obama's place for the LGBTQ community. That's my opinion.
Mhm.
I
Now,
think
go ahead.
I just think because when she did her speech the other night, she was saying that we are here for the poor, the middle class, not the rich. We are here for the LGBT community.
Mhm. So, Vince, do you feel the same way?
I do. About President Biden, he he was different as vice president, but he took the presidency and packed it away. He knew what his boss did, and what he did was the right thing. And he
Mhm.
is taken over right away.
Okay, so th- Dennis,
Yes,
one question here. Now, do you find that, you know, I can see that the two of you are strong individuals, which is a good thing, and mainly as a couple and in a small town, being part of the LGBTYT Two Spirit community. Sometimes we don't need to broadcast who we are and what we have and how we live. Sometimes just integrating into a community is a good thing. And once you become integrated in that community, you generally, most people become good neighbors.
correct.
But of course, we're going to have some of those knuckleheads that are on the block that don't like us because they see that we're happy or we have a home or we're stable. And something that sometimes the people that are just not like us think that they're not used to seeing us in a stable position, in a relationship, buying a home, paying taxes. Um, this is a good thing. And like I said, I take my wig off to the two of you for standing strong in Boot Win, Pennsylvania. And I mean, coming to Toronto was not what a real shock to me because I came here for business and work and to work in a big show. And so it worked to my advantage in a sense, even though I've been through my ups and downs. Now, Dennis, what in your relationship has been the most challenging for the two of you?
I want to say when we first got together would be the partiness. We had to snap the partiness out of us to make our relationship work because we were both partiers.
Okay. Now, I don't want to dig too deep, but as you know, in Toronto, our gay community now, which is the Church Street Village, is really going through a pandemic of crystal meth. A lot
Oh,
of a lot of bad things are happening now in our community. And you know, being doing shows for 25, almost 30 years of doing the shows in within our community. And actually, I'm not going to bash it too much, but it did bring some concerns to me that in our community, we very rarely saw the police, very rarely. So we know what that means, that underneath drug dealers and people who are doing bad things have been getting away with a lot of crazy things for too long that have affected a lot of our communities around the world. Now, how do you guys, the reason I'm bringing this up is because I want to talk about the policing for the LGBTQ community. I want to talk about that, not necessarily about the George Floyd thing. I'm talking about us and the policing within the parade. And how do they treat you? Does the police know you're there in Bootwin, Pennsylvania?
oh yes, they do. Oh yes, they do because
And they all drive by our house and they wave at us, whether we're in the house or sitting outside.
they
Okay.
they 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 actually laugh at me because they they when they pull up to to my house, they say, "Is this you, Dennis, or is this Shanae?"
Oh, oh, you do drag?
No, I used to, but I took over Shanae
Oh,
because
okay.
my second personality, I don't like people to mess with me or my husband.
Oh, okay.
So when someone says, "Oh boy, here comes Shanae, look out."
Oh. Shanae's not having it today.
No, 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 no.
Yeah. Now, I just want to ask you guys a question. Now, you know, they in Toronto here, they were so mad at me because I had such an opinion about the police being in the parade. Now, for me, it's simple, and not because I'm older now and I understand. I understand the importance of being protected. And I don't want to have to look for someone in plain clothes to protect me when I know that if you're in a situation and there's a million or a million and a half of people around and something's going down, I need to see a policeman that I can visually reach out to. And this is what my issue was about the police in the parade. Do you guys think the police should be in the parade?
I think they are. I think the parade throwers and the ones involved in it already know. They don't run around the whole parade in blue suits. You've got the blue suit standing every 10 feet on the sidewalk on each side of the street.
But
We have nothing to worry about at our pride.
Okay.
Last Pride we had Philadelphia paramedics, gay paramedics, Philadelphia firefighters that were gay, Philadelphia police officers that were gay. We had U.S. Marshals that was in the parade that was gay. So
But
go ahead. I'm sorry.
so like you guys, I'm not going to say that you're not answering the question,
Okay.
but I want to know, do you think the police should be in the parade visibly or not?
Not.
Okay, so if you are just a person, even whether you're a visitor or you're a local, and you get into some trouble in the parade, during the celebration of the parade, somebody's bothering you or something's happening, how do you know who to call? How do you know who to reach out to if you can't visibly see a policeman?
In Philadelphia, if um if a homosexual in the parade gets approached and trouble starts, we know.
Well,
So we all will step in.
here's another thing, Miss Stephanie. We have uh, it's called Town Watch up in Philadelphia. In the LGBT community, in the neighborhood, as they call it, which is about 5 blocks, 5 blocks square. Um,
Mhm.
we have a LGBT community that has a town watch that protects all of the gay bars. The Philadelphia police, yes, they do drive by, but I feel more secure when the town watch is out because they can call the police faster than somebody else can.
And
Okay,
there's so many cameras that
okay,
every house is rented or owned by an LGBTQ person or a town watch. They have a camera that shoots to the street.
okay. Now, do you guys feel safe where you are?
Yes, I do now.
Okay.
Uh,
Why
a
do you
month
say now?
a month ago, we were supposed to move into a brand new condo,
Mhm.
and um, we didn't move into it because of the fact that um, we have some health issues, and I was more afraid of us getting hurt and not having a neighbor to that I can count on.
Mhm.
Um, like my neighbors are fabulous. They're I couldn't ask we could not ask for better neighbors in the entire world. Um, it took us a long time to get to where we are in
Mhm.
neighborhood. Um, I feel more secure now than I did a month ago before, when I was being threatened by somebody, because if he was saying if Trump got in office that all gays were going to die.
Oh, you know, I hate such foolish things when people say these things, because I really find that most people are, whether they're on the blue side or the red side, we all have an opinion. But sometimes these, just like I said earlier in the conversation, knuckleheads um, just are trying to start something that is not there. And
Right.
because I said the LGBT community sometimes is the easiest target. It always seems like no matter where we go, we become the target or the topic of conversations because
Right.
they can't. And these are things that we're going to have to learn how sometimes to ignore and sometimes walk away. I know it's very difficult to walk away. Trust me, I've been beat up many times. I don't mean physically beat up, but I mean by my own community here. And I have got to where I am now because I walked away. And it took a lot in me to do that. And but now that I look back at that and I think I'm doing well now because I did walk away and I didn't say anything. And sometimes our own community is our worst enemy.
Yes.
And you two, I really admire the fact that you've stood strong. Dennis, you seem to be holding it together, and I like the fact that Vince is just right in there, and the fact that you guys are on the same page. And that's really important in a long lasting, loving relationship. And I'm not just saying this because I've been in quite a few relationships in my life. And um, I chose, I decided I live alone, and I just decided that I needed to, I care about my career. So I don't want to hold up someone else's life because of my career. And most people think it's just about money. It's not just about money, it's about security and making a difference in our community. That's what's really important. And as older people, we have to think about that
Definitely.
security and think about our community and think about how we can make our community better. We can go out into the world no matter where we are, and I'm not afraid to say who I am.
Right.
And the fact that you guys have done that. Now, your families, are you surrounded by your families?
Yes, my mother and my sister live a mile away, and
And my mother lives a mile in the opposite direction.
Okay.
We
Now,
refused to leave because I lost my father and Dennis lost his. And we can't leave our mothers.
that's
They're
right.
up in age, we can't leave them.
And
So
not
we
only that,
we
you
stuck
always
in the
have to be
middle.
there for your mother.
We
You
stuck in
always have to be there for your mother.
oh
That's
heck
just
yes.
the way it is.
We stuck in
You know,
between of them. So if one gets ill, we only have to walk a mile.
well,
okay.
when I first met Vince, oh my Lord, I got to tell you this. He told me that he was a mama's boy.
Oh.
I said, okay, I'm a mama's boy too. Well, it was a big difference between me as a mama's boy than Vince's. His mother is 100% Greek.
Oh.
So his mom, I love it.
I still get yelled at.
He's 50 years old. He still gets yelled at. It he told me the very first, when we first moved in together, it was so funny. His mom would call 5-6 times a day, and I'd be like, do, 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 do. Hello, and she'd be like, oh, you're not good enough for my son. And it's like, you don't know me. Let's get to know each other before you judge me.
Mhm.
Now we're best friends.
Wonderful. It's strange. I say this not in all fairness to my sister, but she ended up marrying a white guy, and they
Uh-huh.
had They have 5 children, and all their children are now grown. And so my parents, before they died, both my father and my mother are dead. But before, for years, my mother and my father used to tell my sister's husband he wasn't good enough for my sister because she was a Christian woman and because she was, I think, a virgin at the time. And but the two of them couldn't seem to stay away from each other. But my father used to always say, that boy is not good enough for my daughter. He's not good enough for my daughter. You don't have no money. You don't have no education, these things. And it's a good thing that you and your relatives get along. And it's great that your mothers are only a mile away. It's good to keep family around you. And for the LGBTQ community, a lot of us are disconnected from our folks.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's great to see that at least you guys, you stay in contact with your son, you stay in contact with your parents, and the fact that you have good neighbors, I am ecstatic. I mean,
Yeah.
I have my little condo here, but I have an Asian lady on one side of me and some young guy on the other side, and they're both very nice, they're very sweet, and they've been here for a long time. So I just like the fact of good neighbors.
Right.
Definitely.
Even if you don't go to their place, you shake their hand or you take them a pie or something. And I do this just to, keep things good in the, how do they say, keep things good in the hood.
I would love for you to meet one of my friends. He lives upstairs and he's 8
Let him
years
say hello, let him wave, let him come. Hello, and what's your name?
Christopher,
How are you, Christopher?
good.
What grade are you in?
Third,
Oh, do you like school?
Are you done?
barely.
Barely. What's your favorite subject in school?
Math,
Okay, so you want to be an accountant when you grow up? Okay, so it was nice meeting you, Christopher. What do you do? What are you doing for fun now that the pandemic? What do? You just play video games all day?
yes.
Oh, okay. What's your favorite video game?
Fortnite,
Oh, okay, Fortnite. Well, it was nice talking to you, Christopher. You have a good week, okay?
okay.
All right, bye.
He's one
Oh.
of he's one of our neighbors that we
We kind of grew to love.
he's like a
Oh.
grandchild.
Oh, okay. You guys, thank you so much, Dennis and Vince. Now, I just want to ask a couple more questions and we're going to wrap it up.
Okay.
Now, what do you think has been the key to keeping the two of you together?
Oh, I know this one. Well, here's
Let's try it out.
here's 3 things that I say. I never talk about money. I never argue. If you have something to say, you say it and you never bring it up again. My third one is always, always, always tell your partner before you go to bed that you love them, because you never know if you're going to wake up in the morning.
Dennis, you're saying something that touches on me. My father never talked about money. My father always, always touched my mother and told her that he loved her. Always. They were always touching and kissing. And it's the strangest thing that you said that. And, and my father was very upfront. If my mother didn't like something, he would tell her, you tell me what it is you don't want or you don't like, and we're going to hash it out right now and it's done.
Yes.
And the way you said that, that is amazing. And my parents lived by that. They were married for like 61 years.
Oh my.
Lord.
That's long.
It's just an amazing thing that you guys are together and you're happy. And whether or not you're in Bootswin, Pennsylvania, or you're in some big metropolitan city, the fact that you are a loving LGBT couple is amazing. So stand strong, stay sweet to your neighbors, and we're good people. And I
And
just
my,
want to say I enjoyed having you, Vince Lanahan, and Dennis Beck on my show because you are an example for our community that I think we need to share your story with the world because I like the fact that you are hometown boys and you're sticking around to help your mother out, and the fact that you are nice to the neighbors, and the fact that you're just doing the right thing. And this is something that America needs to see in the LGBT communities and homes. And the fact that your neighbors respect you enough to come and hang out in your living room.
Oh, yeah,
Every day.
every day.
I'm here about 6 times a day.
My one neighbor, Lisa's here at least 6 times a day.
you know, we
Hi,
here.
Lisa.
Hold on,
Hi.
hold on.
No, I look terrible. Hi. I just.
How are you?
How are you? Oh, you're
I'm
gorgeous.
wonderful.
You're
Oh,
gorgeous.
thank you. Thank you. So Dennis and Vince,
You're right.
I'm going to say good night.
Good night.
And you guys stay strong. Congratulations on your new president. And hopefully things will become better for the LGBT Two-Spirit community. Like you said, Vince, that you think Carmela will do a great job for the LGBT community. And for you, Dennis, you think Biden will stand strong and sort of follow through with some of the hopes and dreams that he was trying to push through from the Obama era.
Yes.
And hopefully, and I like the fact that Biden did come out and thank the African American community because he wouldn't be in office without them, he says.
That's
So
correct.
we want to just say that, the world is changing drastically. And like my friend Perry says, it's on reset. So hopefully this time our voices are heard
Yes.
and we get speedy resolve from whatever the situation is.
Yes.
And so to you amazing gentlemen, good night, sirs. I
Good
will send
night,
you,
Stephanie.
Good night.
it was amazing talking to you. And I will send you guys a copy of this show, and you can share it with the world because you're a great inspiration. So I take my wig off to you. And gentlemen, and good night.
Very much. Good night.
Good night.
I just want to say to my audience tonight, I had Mr. Dennis Beck and Vince Lanahan on my show from Bootswin, Pennsylvania, to talk about love, voting, relationship, neighbors, and they have given us a great insight into their lives and the fact that they are a same-sex couple living in a small town and doing great. So we want to just say thank you guys so much for tuning in to the Stephanie Stevens Show and Pronoun TV. We welcome you with your stories, and we just want to say have a great and blessed and safe week. And how do they say it? The skies are blue again.
Yes.
Good night, guys.
Good night.